To me, a mixed martial artist is somebody that incorporates different styles of martial arts. They've trained hard in the different styles and the techniques. A fighter is somebody that you can find a fighter on the street. Everybody has that fighter in them, when it comes to the situation where they need to fight. Not everybody is a well-rounded mixed martial artist that trains technique and has spent time working hard and dissecting these moves. It's a science.
What does it take to be a fighter?
To answer questions from my family who just don't understand.
What does it take?
To change the perception of who I was to the man I am today.
What does it take?
To never give up, even though I have every reason to.
What does it take?
To train every day, even though my body's screaming at me to quit.
What does it take?
To come back from an injury that the doctors told me would end my career.
So, what does it take to be an MMA fighter?
What do you think?
Adam Smith is an American fighter from Washington State. He has a professional record of 8 wins with 3 losses and has won 8 out of his last 9 fights.
What got me interested in mixed martial arts is I've been doing traditional Kempo for my whole life. I started out as a young kid. Our grandmother put me and my 2 brothers into it because we grew up with a single mom that was a ballet teacher, and just taught us the discipline that we needed just for life. So that's what got me into mixed martial arts as I got older. Saw an opportunity to become a professional in this sport that I love and make some money at it, and now I get to do that. I'm very blessed. Unfortunately, my grandmother passed away when we were young, when we were really little. So she happened to get us into the martial arts when we were about 5 and 6 years old. Made sure that it was paid for us, and then she passed away. So she didn't really get to see me keep doing the martial arts, but I know that she would be very happy to find out that her money went somewhere good, and I followed through with what she put us in. I studied a traditional style Kempo, so my whole life was ruled around a very strict pace. So I trained 5-6 days a week, even 7 days a week, 7-8 hours a day, even sometimes 4 hours on just the same move. So the self-control that I've learned from the traditional martial arts is huge. Not only the respect and the life principles that I'm able to share with my students and friends has been huge. It takes a certain amount of spirit that you have to keep going even when things are tough. It's something that you learn as a kid. Hopefully your parents teach you growing up how to do that. If not, hopefully you learned it from school or a teacher or something like that. But unfortunately, without that inner drive, it gets really, really tough to keep training, and the hard moves and stuff all the time, because it gets boring. You can only throw a 1-2 so many times, people get bored. But it's the guys that will keep throwing it like Floyd Mayweather, 25, 30 years down the road that are really good. So what drives me for this sport is this is something I've really loved to do my whole life. The Kempo, the art form behind the traditional martial arts it's beautiful. It's awesome when you get to see things that look nice and they're also very effective. That's what drives me is I want to be one of the best. I want to be the champion of the world, and I want people to know that this is something I've put my whole life into, and I've done well at it.
Adam Smith did not have a typical childhood. With his mother pursuing her dream, Adam and his siblings spent most nights not knowing where they were sleeping. with that location often being the family car. For some, this upbringing could have held them back. For Adam Smith, it was the commitment to a lifelong goal that taught him the biggest lesson.
It was actually more difficult than thought. My mom was very dedicated with her ballet, which was a double-edged sword. She really got to pass on the dedication that it takes to become really good at a sport, and especially something as intricate as the technical side of martial arts and ballet. But at the same time, because she was so busy following her passion, she didn't really get to spend as much time focusing on helping us drive. My two brothers quit doing karate when they were younger. They just kind of lost the passion. But you know, I don't know what it is. I just kind of saw my mom and realized that this is something that I need to keep doing. And kind of since then, it's been myself pushing my own path. You know, I haven't had my mom that's there at every single tournament or fight or anything like that, because she's, you know, been busy doing her life. So it's really been an inner drive from the inspirations that I've had over life. So it was very difficult growing up, you know, without necessarily a place to stay all the time, and you know, in between places. You know, money was tight while my mom was working hard, but I would not change it for the world. I wouldn't change the amount of time I got to spend, you know, close with her, or the time that I didn't get to spend with her, because it was all leading a great example for me. So it was great. The adversities that I've had to overcome, you know, would be financial. Growing up, we were very, very poor. So every day I rode my bike to the karate school several miles, would spend 5-6 hours training. Then I'd clean the karate school and then ride my bike home. So it was a daily thing that I was definitely pushing. That's the grind and stuff that I remember that keeps me going. Cleaning toilets and cleaning the floors after everybody left. It's huge for me. I've found lots of inspiration really close. You know, my mom, when I grew up with, we grew up with a single mom. She taught ballet, and that's where I learned to get all my passion from. We grew up very, very poor. In order for her to follow her dream is to be a ballerina and open her own ballet school. And so because of all that hard work, she finally has a ballet school. And it's really taught me that with the hard work, that my dreams really will come true if I put the hard work in there. And, you know, I've seen it from my mom. So that's my biggest inspiration. My mom, she definitely gets to enjoy watching me be very passionate about what I do. I teach karate to the kids. And it's something that I'm really passionate about, being a very good karate instructor and role model to the students. So she really likes to see the passion that's come out of me. So I think more than getting punched in the face and winning the fights, she just really likes to see that I'm following my dream, just like she was able to do and worked hard for. Every day that I teach and I get to see the 3- and 4-year-olds, and the biggest part is my special needs students. I teach, you know, some kids that really, really would love to go out and have this opportunity, but won't able to get anywhere close to kind of what we get to do because of their disabilities. It's very unfortunate, but I want them to be able to share in the experience that I have. So hopefully one day when I'm in a real big show, they're able to come and watch and enjoy and experience this high level of a sport, something that they won't really get to do. So I'm going to train hard as I can to be the best teacher for them and give them the best experience. That's my inspiration.
One of the toughest challenges for any fighter is finding a balance between life and MMA. Adam Smith tries to find ways to help his fighting in his everyday life.
It is a tough balance to find teaching and training at the same time. What people don't realize most of the time is that when you teach, you also are training. As I learned from every little kid, student, I teach special needs students, older people, younger people, and I learned from every one of them. So I would say that I learn almost, you know, twice as fast as somebody else that's just training technique, because I'm teaching that technique and I'm encountering new problems. I get to dissect the techniques and really break them down to as simple as they can in order for me to teach them to a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old or somebody that has a disability. You're not able to just throw an advanced technique at them and then expect them to learn it. So being able to really dissect the moves and break down the martial arts and the science of the martial arts really has given me a way more understanding of training. It's not just about getting in there and sparring all the time, or even just running, or stair steppers and stuff like that. If you're not dissecting the technique and training, you're not going to improve. I'm not quite sure what separates me from somebody else. When I was younger, I know when I turned about 15 and 16, I made some really important life decisions mentally, that I was going to make sure that I was on the right path and make the best decisions that I could and be an example and a role model to the kids that I was teaching at the time and still now. That's really kept me on a good path, I haven't been one that's gone from girl to girl and stuff, and I think that is, I would say, if I had a girlfriend most of my life, I would probably not accomplish half the things that I have. I want to put lots of time into a woman, but right now I need to put time into my career and my life for my students. The mixed martial arts has really helped me cope with things in real life better. I became a volunteer fireman to help push my qualities that I have, something that I can bring to the table. And being in a tough situation where you're fighting in a cage against somebody that's really trying to hurt you and then trying to stay calm, it really helps you when somebody's dying and you're doing chest compressions on them and people are screaming around you. It's almost like the same feeling. So to be able to control yourself and take care of the situation is huge. Whether you get emotional or there's a physical stress, it's big.
Adam's opponent for this fight is Canadian Chris Maddock. Maddock, who first appeared in the Hard Knocks cage at Hard Knocks 2, is 4-1 as a professional, with all of his wins coming by submission.
Chris Maddock is my opponent. What I know about him is I know he's a jiu-jitsu guy. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Anybody that's puts the gi on and puts time on the mat, has some good skills. So a brown belt doesn't just come light. I'm going to be ready for what he's got, though.
I'm fighting Adam Smith. He's 8-3 from Seattle, Washington. He recently got his purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think he's got a black belt in karate. I know he's got 7 wins by submission. I know the opponents haven't been that high caliber. One of them has had a winning record that he's beat. So it's a mixed bag. Like his fight in Hard Knocks, he didn't look that great. He looked like a guy who had jiu-jitsu takedowns, and I don't know if he's going to be ready for, a guy with my jiu-jitsu. I really hope he is, because I think it would be really fun. I don't know if Calgary's ever seen a scrambly jiu-jitsu fight at a high level yet.
I feel I want to get in there and fight with the top-notch guys. It wasn't by choice necessarily that I fought guys, but there's a strategy to this sport and to this career. You're not out there right away to fight the toughest guys. In my career, when I first started, I fought the toughest guys that were out there. My first 2 losses are against guys that were undefeated, 3-time state champion wrestlers, guys that went to fight in the RFA. And then I strung together, I had a more successful mind as far as putting together my career. Then my 3rd loss was another not smart move of mine. I fought the week before in another city, and so it was just a tough thing. I'm ready to fight the toughest guys. I train and I compete in top-level jiu-jitsu tournaments. I win expert divisions. There's not really guys out there that tap me out, and I train with high-level UFC guys, and they don't tap me out either. So I don't like to call myself much of a fighter. I'm a traditional martial artist. This is something I've done for over 20 years. It's a science. It's a sport. Fighting is very brutal when people think about it. And so just to be somebody that's just a fighter, that's not me. I'm a technician. I dissect these moves. I make it look beautiful. And I really think about what I'm doing. I'm not just in there throwing hands and trying to knock somebody out. I really want to dissect and win the best possible way.
I'm going to shoot for submissions. That's a guarantee. And when I left Hard Knocks, I threw up submissions right, left, and center. I probably had the most submission attempts from Hard Knocks 2 to 8. I just don't stop shooting them. And, a guy who's got 7 submissions on his pro record, he likes to throw them up too. It's going to be a fun fight.
This is about my legacy. It's about when I'm 80 years old and I get to look back and I'm talking to my students and, my students get to talk about their instructor. It's about the legacy that I get to leave behind. So this is one fight. has to do with my legacy. I take it all to heart. It's very important. Yeah, I want people to associate with me that I was always working to be the best. I'm the guy that's really trying to keep going, and that one day I will be the best.
This Hard Knocks fight is a middleweight bout in the professional division. And now, let's meet the fighters. In the blue corner, he's 8-3 as a professional, 25 years old, and stands 5 feet, 9 inches tall. He weighed in at 170 pounds, fighting out of Sikh Jitsu and Tasmanian martial arts from Spokane. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Adam Smash Smith! And his opponent, in the red corner, he's 4-1 as a professional, 29 years old, and stands 6 feet, 4 inches tall. He weighed in at 180 pounds, fighting out of Gracie Baja from Calgary. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Chris Automatic!
And that is it. Adam Smith, your winner. Chris Maddock, a mess on the canvas. Adam Smith made a statement with this victory.
Adam Smith came in here and said, I'm having a fight at the 170-pound division. He didn't get it. What he got was a fight at middleweight in which he dominated his opponent.
In the blue corner, Adam Smash Smith!
I think it was about 3 minutes into the fight. I controlled the stand-up game, found an opportunity for a takedown. I got the takedown, ended up in his guard, just waited patiently in his guard for time to pass, ended up passing in his guard, kind of took his back, sunk my hooks in, rolled him to his belly, and was able to finish with some ground and pound from there.
He came out right away. I was expecting something different. He rushed with a couple punches, clipped me in the nose, and from there I just shot a takedown, played guard, threw up a submission. Didn't work out my way, and then from there I was choking on my own blood. Rolled up, tried changing positions. I just started choking on my own blood and just gave up a TKO.
You know, actually everything went really according to plan. I was hoping to get a little earlier finish just so I could kind of keep it on my record that way, but it was beautiful. I got the takedown, secured position, and finished with the ground and pound.
My game plan was to take him down and laugh a little bit, like submit him. I thought I was the better ground fighter. Choking on your own blood kind of makes it hard.
The feeling after tonight's fight was very satisfactory. Like, this is something that's a long-term road for me, something I'm going to plan on doing my whole life. I was very happy to come out uninjured, able to compete and train and teach for the next few weeks, and move on to the next.
Win or lose, there's tons I can learn from this fight. Obviously, it didn't go my way, so there are tons of things I could work on. You know, my stand-up, blocking things without my face would be a good idea. Yeah, tons of things I can do, tons of things to learn from.
I'd like to add that this is a great promotion. Hard Knocks treats their fighters very, very well. It's one of the top promotions, I'd say, around the North America. They do it just like the biggest promotions in the world. The interviews, the press, the way that they're trying to expose the fighters is awesome. It's very top-notch, and they're really working for their fighters. So I'm blessed to be a part of this promotion, and I hope I get to come back.